Hello, sports fans. It is Tuesday, November the 13th, the year 2012. And as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Let's get to the Monday Night Football game last night. The Steelers beat the Chiefs in overtime, 16-13, a game the Steelers absolutely escaped with a win, and a game the Chiefs probably should have won. The Steelers really came out flat in this game. I mean, it was a rainy, sloppy game. The crowd was not into it. A lot of empty seats in Pittsburgh. I mean, we thought going into this game, this was going to be like a rollover game for the Steelers, almost like a bye week. They were going to have this game salted away in the first half. Not so fast. Not in the NFL. The Chiefs looked inspired. They got off to a 10-0 lead. Steelers tie it at 10 at the half. You still think the Steelers are going to roll in the second half. But wait, Roethlisberger goes down with an injury in the third quarter, lands on his shoulder. Right now we're hearing sprained shoulder. They're going to do more tests. So we'll see how long Roethlisberger is going to be out. Could be a huge blow for the Steelers. Obviously, the Steelers cannot go far without Roethlisberger. They have Leftwich as the backup, Charlie Batch behind him. Leftwich looked shaky at best last night. So the Steelers season, as it is with so many teams, hinges on their starting quarterback. If Roethlisberger is gone for the year, so are the Steelers. We'll see how much time he actually does miss, if it's going to be a week, 2 weeks, a month, the whole season, who knows. Right now they're saying sprained shoulder, more tests, so we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, just a terrible blow for the Steelers if he misses any significant portion of the season, because you got to remember, the Steelers are only a game behind the Ravens, and they play the Ravens 2 of the next 3 weeks, including next Sunday night in Pittsburgh. So the timing with this injury was awful as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. As far as the game, I mean, the Chiefs just absolutely shot themselves in the foot in this game. The Chiefs could have won this game. They missed a big field goal in this game that came back to bite them. They had a touchdown nullified on a questionable holding call. The Chiefs had a lot of penalties in this game. Some were questionable. Some were just downright stupid by the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs got a celebratory, penalty in the end zone, and it wasn't even a touchdown. Leftwich arm was going forward. The Chiefs picked up the ball and ran it in the end zone. They looked at it on replay. They nullified the touchdown, but the Chiefs were dancing in the end zone. They were doing the boogie in the end zone. You can't do a group celebration. So not only was the touchdown nullified, they got a 15-yard penalty and gave the Steelers a first down. The Chiefs did so many of these bonehead penalties last night. It was ridiculous. And a couple of the calls were questionable, but some of them, the Chiefs, downright ridiculous. Timmons, the big interception in overtime, sets up the Steelers' game-winning field goal after the Chiefs tie it with no time left. So the Steelers absolutely escaped last night. They were so lucky to win, very lucky, and the Chiefs could have very easily won this game. Steelers are 6-3, Chiefs 1-8. Steelers game back the Ravens, but more importantly, what's the status of Roethlisberger? I mean, they cannot go far without him, so we will keep an eye on that. The Steelers' running game last night, non-existent, and you see how much they miss Brown on offense. The Steelers have a lot of good receivers. Brown is their best receiver. With him not being in there last night, you really saw it. As good as the other receivers are, he's the best receiver, so they really missed him. And of course, they missed Polamalu in the secondary. Who knows when he's going to play? So we'll keep an eye on the Steelers. We'll keep an eye on Roethlisberger. And that wraps up Week 10 in the NFL. Let's quickly go through the playoff standings in the NFL, because we are through 10 weeks in the NFL, and believe it or not, you got to start talking about the playoffs. The season goes so fast. Let's quickly touch on the NFC. Right now, the teams that would be in the playoffs in the NFC would be Atlanta. They would be the number 1 seed at 8-1. Number 2 seed Chicago, 7-2. 3 seed San Francisco, 6-2-1. Giants would be the 4 seed. They're 6-4. The 2 wild card teams right now would be Green Bay at 6-3 and Seattle at 6-4. Those would be your teams right now. Now in the hunt, Minnesota's in the hunt. They're 6-4 as well. They've done a nice job. They have a very tough schedule though. Tampa Bay, 5-4. They've also done a tremendous job. Schiano has them playing really hard this year. They're in the hunt. Can't rule out the Saints at 4-5. I don't love their defense. They are showing signs of life. Can't rule them out. Dallas at 4-5 saved their season last week. They're only a game behind the Giants in the loss column for the division. Can't rule them out. Then you got Detroit and Arizona at 4-5. I mean, Arizona's lost 5 in a row, and Detroit you can't trust, but you don't want to rule them out completely right now. Forget about the rest of the teams in the NFC. So that's how the NFC is shaping up right now. As far as the AFC goes, Houston right now, your top seed at 8-1. They're the best team in the AFC. Baltimore, the 2 seed at 7-2, and looking better with this Roethlisberger injury, that they're going to hang on to that to the division there. So Baltimore right now, the 2 seed. New England, a very shaky 3 seed. They are 6-3. I expect them to win the division. Their defense is very shaky. It's going to cost them in a big spot. Number 4 seed right now would be Denver. Denver's coming on. They're 6-3. They look really good. Manning gives them a chance, and the defense looks good. So Denver, definite contender. Right now, the 2 wild card teams would be, believe it or not, Indianapolis at 6-3. Tremendous job by the coaching staff and Andrew Luck. And right now, Pittsburgh would be the other wild card at 6-3. But we'll keep an eye on the Roethlisberger injury. Right now, the Steelers have a cushion, though, because the teams behind them, fighting for the wild card. You have San Diego, you have Miami, and Cincinnati. They're all 4-5. They're all 2 games back of the Steelers. So even if Roethlisberger misses some time, they could probably hang on, to get into the playoffs. I just don't think they can win the division if Roethlisberger misses any amount of time. And forget about doing anything in the playoffs if you have to go with Leftwich. That's just not going to happen. So that's right now how the playoff picture looks in both leagues. But we still have so much time to go. You still have like 6 full weeks of football. Anything can happen. But we're starting to get an idea about who's in, who's going to be in, who's going to be out, who's a contender and a pretender. You're starting to get an idea. So that wraps up Week 10 in the NFL. Wednesday we're going to do our college picks. Thursday we're going to do all our NFL. All right, right now I want to do a little NBA. I want to give you a little State of the Union in the NBA. It's very early in the NBA season, but every week we're going to do a little State of the Union on, what teams are doing in the NBA, all the movement in the NBA, the divisions, whatnot. So let's quickly go through the divisions in the NBA real quick. I know it's early, but let's have a little fun with it. Let's go to the East, the Atlantic Division. Knicks are 4-0, doing a tremendous job. I mean, really captivating New York City right now. 4-0, Carmelo Anthony playing great. Jason Kidd has actually played well. Still no Amari Stoudemire. That could be a blessing in disguise because I think the Knicks are actually better without him. When he comes back, he could mess up the chemistry. I hope when he comes back, they put him on the bench and make him come off the bench. Don't put him into the starting rotation. Knicks doing a nice job at 4-0. Brooklyn in their new arena, they're 3-2. Wallace has missed a bunch of games. Williams looks like he's going to have to play the whole season hurt. I mean, the Nets are definitely a playoff team. I mean, we'll see how good they can really be. Definitely improved, though. The Nets are 3-2. Philadelphia is 4-3. Haven't been played a game with Bynum yet, who's going to miss another 5 weeks. It seems like Bynum is always hurt. Philadelphia is 4-3. They look like they have a nice team. If they ever got Bynum back healthy, they could be a real nice team in the East. We'll keep an eye on that. Boston right now, they're 4-3. They have a lot of age on the team. I mean, Garnett, Pierce. I mean, they lost Allen to Miami. I mean, they added Terry. Believe me, Boston's going to fight. They're going to give it all they have. Doc Rivers is a good coach. But in the end, they have too much age and not enough firepower. So they're going to fight you tooth and nail. They are not going to have enough to win the NBA title, in my opinion. That's just my opinion right now. It's early. Toronto 1-6, long way to go. Let's go to the Central. Milwaukee is 4-2. They have a nice backcourt with Jennings and Ellis. Very nice combination in the backcourt. We'll see what Milwaukee can do as far as the front court. They have a nice backcourt combination, though they are 4-2. Chicago is 4-3. No Derrick Rose yet. Obviously, he's going to miss a significant portion of the season. They have to have him back to do anything. They are 4-3 right now. Indiana 3-4, a little disappointing. They had a nice season last year. Granger's going to miss 3 months. They're going to miss him. Right now, they are 3-4. Cleveland 2-5. They obviously need a lot of work. Irving looks like a star, though, for Cleveland. They obviously need a lot more talent, though. Detroit 0-8. I mean, my goodness, Detroit 0-8. They need all sorts of help. They actually played the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, but ended up losing in the end. Detroit 0-8, one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. We go to the South in the East. Miami, obviously, 6-2. We know they're the best team in the NBA. LeBron, Wade, Bosh, they had Allen, best team in the NBA. I mean, look for Miami to win it again this year. I can't see any team stopping them. Atlanta, 3-3. Remember, they lost Joe Johnson to the Nets. Atlanta's not quite as good as they were last year. They're kind of neither here nor there. I'd call them pretty good, maybe not great. They could probably make the playoffs, but I don't see them doing any serious damage. I mean, then you have Charlotte 2-3. They need a lot of work. Orlando 2-4. Not a lot of talent there. Washington 0-5. Wall and Nene have yet to even play. A long way back for Washington. Over to the West real quick. In the North Division, you have Oklahoma City at 6-2. Obviously, one of the best teams in the West. They do lose Harden. They trade him for to Houston for Kevin Martin. Definitely Oklahoma City takes a step back here. They're not as good as they were last year without Harden. It's a shame they couldn't keep the core together, but they're a small market team. They couldn't afford to pay all these guys, maximum deals. They already paid Durant and Ibaka and Westbrook maximum deals. They did give Harden a nice offer, but he wanted a maximum deal. You know how these players are. They want every cent. He wanted a maximum deal. Oklahoma City being, a small market team, couldn't give it to him. They end up trading him. He goes to Houston. So Oklahoma City not as good as they were last year with Martin instead of Harden. They are still very good, though. We'll keep an eye on them. Minnesota, what a great job they're doing. They're 5-2, and they have not played with Love or Rubio yet. So 5-2 without those two guys. Minnesota's a team to look out for. They could be an up-and-coming team. Utah 4-4. They're neither here nor there. They kind of remind me of the Hawks. They're okay, but not great. They could make the playoffs. They're not going to do any real damage, though. Denver 4-4. Here's the problem with Denver, and Denver probably has the same problem as Utah. They have some nice collection of players, but no stars. Who's the star on Denver? They really don't have one. So Denver's 4-4. Portland off to a terrible start, 2-5. They have great fans up there, but terrible start for them. Let's go to the Pacific Division. Clippers are 5-2. We expect them to be much improved. Griffin and Paul, they have a really, really nice team. We'll see if they can get up to championship level. I don't think they could do it this year, but they are improving. They are 5-2. Suns 4-4. I don't expect much from them. Mediocre at best. Lakers are 3-4. Nash hurt. We know the coaching change. They don't go with Phil Jackson. They fire Brown. D'Antoni's the new coach. I don't like the move. I don't like D'Antoni because he's not a defensive coach. Plus, he wants to run up and down the court. And the Lakers have an old team. I mean, how are the Lakers going to run up and down the court with Gasol and Artest and Kobe? I mean, they have an old team. Even Dwight Howard was talking about yesterday. He's like, yeah, we have an old team. I don't know how we're going to get up and down the court. I mean, Dwight Howard's one of the few younger players. I mean, he makes a good point, Dwight Howard. I don't even think he meant to say it, but he was kind of kidding around. He's right, though. The Lakers are old. How are they going to play in the D'Antoni style of running up and down the court? And even if they can, D'Antoni doesn't preach defense. This is a recipe for disaster for the Lakers. The Lakers obviously have a nice team. They have a collection of really great stars here. They're older, though, with the exception of Dwight Howard. Nash, Kobe, Gasol, Artest, they're all old. Plus, the Lakers have no bench. I don't like D'Antoni as the coach here. Obviously, you got to say the Lakers are a contender. I don't think they win the title this year, though. Golden State is 3-4. Bogart hasn't played yet, so they really need him in the lineup. Sacramento 2-5. They need a lot of work. Southwest Division, real quick. San Antonio 6-1. I mean, we know they're going to have a great regular season. They always do. They did the last 2 years. San Antonio's like Boston to me. They're going to fight you, give you everything they have every night, but they have a lot of age on this team. And in a big spot in the playoffs, I think the age is going to come back to haunt them. It did last year. It did the year before that. I think it's going to, play out the same way this year. I don't think San Antonio can win a title with this much age on the team, with Duncan being older. So San Antonio is going to have a great record in the regular season, but I don't see them, doing it in the playoffs. Memphis 5-1, really, really nice team. Again, who's their star? I mean, Rudy Gay, is it Marc Gasol? I mean, Randolph. They have a nice collection of players. No real superstar, though, and this is a superstar league. So Memphis, nice team, no superstar, really. New Orleans 3-2. They have a collection of nice young players. Davis, Rivers. You wonder when Gordon's going to ever play. Gordon hasn't played one game this year. He was hurt most of last year. You'd like to see Gordon, Davis, and Rivers on the court at the same time because New Orleans does have a nice collection of young players. You'd like to see them all playing at the same time. They're 3-2. Dallas 4-4. No Dirk yet. No Dirk Nowitzki yet. They are 4-4. They definitely need him back. I mean, Dallas has a nice team with him back. Do I think they're a championship team? No. Houston 3-4. They have Harden. They have Lynn. They're exciting. I mean, but they still need a lot of work. When you really look at basketball, and here's the thing about basketball, the best team usually wins in basketball. So who can really win it here in basketball? I mean, in the East, to me, it's just Miami. That's the only team in the East that can win a title. I mean, the Knicks can't win a title. Brooklyn, Philly, none of these teams can win a title. Only Miami out of the East. Out of the West, Oklahoma City you have to consider, but I don't think they're as good without Harden. I mean, the Lakers, yeah, because of who they have, but still I don't like the age. I don't like the coach. I mean, after that, I mean, I don't like San Antonio with all their age. I mean, back to the East, I don't like Boston. I mean, to me, this is Miami's title to lose. I mean, I know it's early to say that, but I mean, Miami has to be the front runner. So that's just State of the Union in the NBA real quick. Real quick also on college basketball. College basketball, believe it or not, is already starting. They're doing the 24-hour marathon on ESPN already. 24 hours of games. They had games at, midnight last night, 2 in the morning, 6 a.m. this morning. There were some decent games last night, or I thought they were going to be decent. I watched West Virginia and Gonzaga. Gonzaga blew them out. But then I stayed up, believe it or not, 2 a.m. last night, 12 midnight local time in New Mexico. New Mexico rallies and beats Davidson in a really nice game. And you want to talk about a great home court. New Mexico and Albuquerque. What a snake pit down there. Those fans are amazing down there. So really nice atmosphere there. The games on ESPN this morning, kind of some of the smaller schools like Rider and Stony Brook, Harvard and UMass, those type of teams. Now, as far as later on today, you do have some nice matchups. You do have in the afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern Time, Butler at Xavier. That's a nice game, 2 nice programs. And then tonight, nice doubleheader on ESPN from the Georgia Dome. I mean, really nice doubleheader. Kansas, Michigan State, and then Duke, Kentucky. A really juicy doubleheader. I know it's early for college basketball, but those are 2 games you want to watch. Not much going on in the sports world tonight. No football, so you may want to check that out. Also, late tonight, you have Lakers-Spurs. That's always an interesting rivalry. We'll keep an eye on that. So you guys, that wraps up today. You have a safe day. You enjoy the games tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to do our college football picks, wall-to-wall college football tomorrow. Not a great weekend in college football, by the way, although the week after looks amazing. College football winding down. It goes quick. Thursday, we're going to do all our NFL picks, top to bottom, go through all the games. You guys enjoy the games tonight. Check out some college basketball. Check out Lakers Spurs. Stay safe. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Wednesday. Take care.